What's up, all you hepcats and groovy chicks? We're back with another episode of the Babbling Bards podcast.
A podcast made by Xenites.
For Xenites, we're your happy host.
I'm Liliana.
I'm Trista. Nice to meet ya. We picked up a couple of new followers today.
We did.
Introduced ourselves on one of the Xenite retreat pages on Facebook, and somebody didn't know that there was another Xena podcast, so she was all excited. I was like, yay!
Yeah. Yay!
They like us. They really like us. I don't know about that. She hasn't listened to the podcast yet.
She or he?
It was a she.
Was it?
It's an Erica.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know. A few people commented, so I don't remember who it was. That might have been it. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We love the followers. I am an attention whore. So, and I'm a total geek, so I really enjoy being able to talk about anything, pretty much, from video games to history to Buffy to Xena to... Liliana picks on me sometimes because she'll pick out like a random character on a movie or something and say, hey...
Connect them to Xena.
Or connect them to Buffy.
Right.
Either one.
It's ridiculous. She can connect, like, anybody to Xena or Buffy. It's ridiculous.
I wouldn't call it ridiculous.
It's crazy. I mean, you get, like, somebody that you think, oh, there's absolutely no way that that person can be connected to, you know, Xena or Buffy. But she does it. It's crazy.
There is always a way, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
My little friend.
You guys should try and stump her with that.
No,
okay,
no, they shouldn't.
Connect this person to Xena.
You tell them to do that, I will croak. Sure as the world.
Do it.
Don't do it.
Do it. But anyway.
Yes. Back to the future.
Or the past.
The past, yeah.
The past.
So, we've got...
Today's episode.
We're going back into the land that time forgot.
Into
the world of Charles Dickens.
A Solstice Carol, which is
a play
on A Christmas Carol.
Words for A Christmas Carol, yeah. And even everything from the events that happen in the episode to the story that Gabrielle tells the kids.
Right.
Is all a portion of A Christmas Carol. Which, I mean, of course, the ending of the story Gabrielle tells is slightly different. But anyway, that's your basis of the episode. This is also the second Xena episode that we've got what they consider a heavy Christian influence in. They have some type of Christian influence in this episode. Mainly because of the end scene with Mary and Joseph and the jackass and Jesus. So, you know.
The donkey.
No, the guy calls him an ass.
I know.
And it's male, so wouldn't that make it a jackass? Because it wouldn't be a Jill ass. Right?
But donkey just sounds nicer.
Who cares about sounding nicer?
I mean, did the donkey really look like a jackass?
No, it was so cute. I want it so bad.
He didn't look like a jackass. He just looked like a cute donkey.
That's what I kept telling Liliana. I want the donkey. I want the donkey. It's so cute.
It was cute.
It would go nicely in our backyard.
Okay.
Like when the neighbors behind us start like blaring their music and crap, donkey would just go, ew, ew, ew. Yes?
Okay.
It'd be a thing. They'll like it.
That was beautiful.
I know. It's because I work out. I stretch my vocal cords every day.
Okay.
You should hear me yell at those people at work. Yeah. Hulk out. Me, Trista. That's it. All day. Every day. So, this episode aired December 9th.
1996.
96.
Yep.
This episode we got a couple of Easter eggs in. Well, one big Easter egg with two elements.
Right.
And then we've got quite a few familiar faces. I've got some fun facts for everybody.
Okay.
And Oh, what's that thing that I'm supposed to be doing?
Subtext.
Subtext.
Yes.
Sub-freaking-text. You know, I gotta be honest, I had a really hard time finding subtext in this episode.
Yeah.
Truly did. And I patrolled the forums. I did. I looked, and essentially what I ended up doing was, it may not be stuff that I agreed with, per se, but if somebody pointed something out and I was like, well, you know, there may be a hint of credibility to that, to any of the Xenite people, I pulled that to at least have something subtext related to talk about. But I had a hard time. Really did. This is also one of those episodes that several members of the Xenite community, and when I say several, I'm talking well over 800, just from some of the forums that I pulled from, and I pulled from about 86 subtext forums.
Okay.
A little over 800 fans are, you know, hell-bent on Xena and Gabrielle are together in this episode. And they gave supporting factors. You know, just because I don't necessarily agree with it, I gotta say, they stated their position well. They backed it up, and I mean, they backed it up with stuff that was said and done in the episode. So, you know, you can't, it's subtext. You can't discredit it, and you can't, you know, agree with it if you don't see it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I am subtext blind, so.
She is.
I realized in the last episode.
The very last episode.
Friend in Need Part 2. I realized that there was something going on between Xena and Gabrielle. And Liliana was like, yeah?
Took you this long to see it?
Pretty much. Well, and then when we did the second rewatch, I did a little bit better, because then I realized in the Abyss, when Gabrielle was talking about, you know, after she died wanting to lie with Xena, and her family, in death, I was like, well, that's like only a spousal thing, so, oh my god.
Yeah, well, I told you I'm all like, rewind that and listen to what she's saying. And then
because Liliana came at me from a historical point of view. Because you can get me with history. You can't, you know, I'm pretty obtuse with other stuff.
So yeah. I mean, you were pretty much, well, shit.
Yeah. Because she's like, and she put my nose in it too. She's like, hey, when would you wanna be buried with somebody? Like, consider the time frame when this is taking place. When would you ask that? And I'm like, well, you'd only ask that if it was your partner. Oh. And,
ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
The light went off or on.
And then I learned that denial is not just a river in Egypt. So, anyway. Back to the thing. We open and we're in King Silvus's court. And we've got our first familiar face, which is King Silvus.
King Silvus.
He is played by Peter Ver-Jones. And Peter Ver-Jones played Zeus in the Hercules episode Judgment Day, which is a crossover episode with Xena Warrior Princess, which also featured Xena and Gabrielle. Right. So, all three of them have been on the screen, sharing the screen before. Actually, yeah. Two people have been... Two of the guest stars in this episode, we'll get to one a little later, we're on a couple of Hercules deals with Lucy Lawless. Not Renee O'Connor, but Peter Ver-Jones was on one with Renee. So, you know, it's... There you go.
Okay.
I'm babbling. You're supposed to stop me when that happens.
But that's what you do.
I know.
That's why we're called the Babbling Bards.
Well, we could have been called the Battling Bards, but you tell me not to fight so hard all the time.
No,
she really doesn't. But Italian, quick temper. Battling, not such a good thing for me to do. Okay, so King Silvus's court. King Silvus is passing judgment on this older couple, sentencing them to 10 years hard labor.
Mm-hmm. And then another 12 months for, decorating a tree and singing solstice carols.
And somebody had pointed out that he specified 12 months. He didn't say 1 year.
Right.
He said 12 months. And somebody was pointing out, so does anybody know if the ancient Greek calendar, at this point in time, if the month system ran differently?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like now, we're on the Gregorian calendar.
Right.
So, we're on a 12-month deal. The Roman calendar was not 12 months. That was the first calendar I grew up with. Uh-huh. When I went and hung out in Italy. Mm-hmm. I learned on the Roman calendar. So, when I got in school and we started learning months and everything like that, I was like, this is all wrong. I told my kindergarten teacher, this is all wrong. Where did you go to school?
So how many months was the Roman one?
Roman was 8.
Really?
8-month Roman calendar.
Huh.
Yeah. Ancient Roman, New Wave Roman, 8 months.
Uh-huh.
And that was adapted in 13th century, I believe. But ancient Roman calendar had as many as 16 months, depending upon the year. But I learned on 8 months.
Well, that must have been weird.
I was crazy confused. That's what happens when your parents ship you off to go hang out with relatives. So, it's what it is. It's a learning experience.
Now, did they still go by the 8-month calendar?
Oh, no. My family's just weird.
Okay. I was going to say. Huh.
Nearly everybody does the Gregorian calendar now, except for the Mayans, because, there are no more Mayans.
Right.
Their world ended.
Uh-huh.
They're not here anymore.
No.
Now they're just indigenous people. That's what somebody called them. Who called them that?
I have no clue.
It was on one of the shows they were talking about that. Anyway, I'm getting way off track because my mind's spinning 90 miles a second. So they've been sentenced
10 years hard labor and an additional 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Which may or may not have been reflected by a year on the ancient Greek calendar. We don't know.
Right.
Wasn't there, don't know. So they're sending them. One of the guy says, we're too old to live in a poorhouse. And then the guards are like, well, you'll die there.
Yeah.
And then King Silvus is asking Centocles, who we meet at this point. Mm-hmm. And Centocles is a chicken shit.
He is.
He's so scared of going to jail. He's scared of the king. You can't live your life in fear,
But, yeah.
It's too short. You might as well just be dead already if you're going to be scared of everything. But King Silvus is one in the eviction lists.
Mm-hmm. And then Centocles is about to say, but it's, Solstice Eve. But he couches himself because
it's so late.
So late. It's so late.
Looks nearly dark. King Silvus tells him, well, then you better hurry. Unless you want to add your name to the parchment.
Right.
Then we're in the village, and we have our two favorite gals. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about buying solstice gifts for each other.
Right.
And we see that Gabrielle's a little more in the spirit of solstice than Xena is.
Yeah, she mentioned something about, we'll have a 5 dinar limit or something. Mm-hmm. And Xena's just like, well, why don't I just give you the 5 dinars and you can buy something for yourself.
That you really want.
That's not how it works.
Gabrielle's all like, no spying. One of us sees somebody looking at a stall, we'll walk away and go the other way.
So while they're, chatting back and forth, you notice the kid in the background eyeballing Xena's chakram.
Lionel.
Mm-hmm. And you had a fun fact about Lionel?
I do have a fun fact about Lionel. Lionel is played by David James.
Mm-hmm.
And David James played young Iolaus in Hercules and the Amazon Women. Aside Lucy Lawless, who played Lycia. So, that's my fun fact.
I haven't seen that in, a long time.
I watched it when you were at your mom's the last time.
Uh-huh.
I watched it. I watched Hercules and the Lost Kingdom. I think I ended up because I wasn't feeling that great when you were gone, and I put something on just for noise, because it's like creepy quiet when you and the kiddos aren't here.
Yeah.
So I think I put on, like, the animated Hercules and Xena movie just so I had background noise. Mm-hmm. Because it was one that, like, I don't really care to watch it, but it's noise.
Yeah.
And I like the music. Except for the "We Are Titans." Boom, shaka, laka, laka.
Boom.
I mean, there's that, but for the most part, I like the music. So I had it on, and I watched so much stuff. But that's the only reason I remembered that Lionel was in that was because I watched it, like, what, 2 months ago? 3 months ago now?
I don't know.
So, and photographic memory, it's hard to wipe away sometimes.
So it's stuck.
It's stuck.
It's stuck. So, he's eyeballing the chakram.
Yes. And Xena knows he's eyeballing the chakram.
She knows he's, up to something. So he swipes it.
Shoves between her and Gabrielle.
Yeah. Gabrielle's clueless.
Yeah. Well.
As to what happened.
Never mind. Shut up.
What?
Yeah, Gabrielle's clueless. So.
Okay.
At this point, she was still kind of clueless. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah.
She's bounced back, like, commendably quickly from the death of Perdiccas. She's on making nice with Xena, and some people point out that this is one of those episodes they're together. One of the earliest episodes. That there's a thing that we got. Oh my God, what did somebody call him?
Call what?
Xenabrielle.
What?
They mushed their names together to make like a Brangelina name.
Yeah. What?
Xenabrielle, and I was like, what is that?
That just does not...
it doesn't roll off the tongue.
It does not roll. Xenabrielle.
Xenabrielle. Like, maybe it's an American thing. I'm going, maybe that's why
I don't know.
I mean, I'm American. I'm about as country as cornbread, but... not primarily.
That's a mouthful, though.
It was. Well, it takes all types to make the world go round. Mm-hmm. The world's probably better because that person that came up with the name Xenabrielle. Mm-hmm. World's probably a better place because of them. So if it's you, rock on, man. Jew do Jew.
There you go. Right.
So she starts tracking Lionel. Mm-hmm. Gabrielle starts tracking Lionel. And he's all thinking he got by with it. But Xena's still, caught up to him. She hides, lets him go in to the door, and then she and Gabrielle follow him. Mm-hmm. Xena actually stops Gabrielle, so Gabrielle doesn't go after him.
Right.
And then she's like, come on, let's go.
And they follow him to the orphanage. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then you have a pretty important orphan in this episode, which don't see his face now, but he's credited as Orphan 3. That is played by Nico Vella, who replaces David Taylor as Solon in the episode God-Fearing Child. Mm. When, Solon's in, like, the little cocoon thing watching his travels with Xena, or, Xena on the road.
Yeah.
And, he takes the place of Solon. He plays Mabon the Druid in, the Airy arc? The Irish arc? The Hercules Irish episodes?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
I can't think of the name of those.
It's been so long since I've seen Hercules.
But anyway, he plays Mabon.
Okay.
In those. You don't see... He's credited in that scene, but you don't see his face until they're sitting around for story time. Uh-huh. He's like the orphan that says, I wish everyone in the world could be as happy as we are right now. Mm-hmm. He's sitting like all the way to the far left, in the back, and he has short hair.
Short hair. Doesn't have the long soul in here.
No. So that's your next familiar face.
Mm-hmm.
And they're wanting. I mean, these kids are wanting. They're wanting solstice pudding, and they're asking if Lionel can get them a goose, and then Xena spies her chakram.
All right.
And it's got ribbons all on it.
Uh-huh.
And what happens then, Liliana? They're commenting on the chakram looking like the king's crest.
The king's crest, and then Lionel makes the comment, in honor of his cold heart, which he's not a fan of the king.
King Silvus at all.
But
he thinks he's just a cold-hearted snake.
Uh-oh.
He been telling lies.
But, I mean, I don't think anybody in the village is much of a fan of the king.
I would disagree with that. There's a pretty important individual in this episode that is a fan of the king.
Well, yeah. But, in general.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Xena was like, looking at the chakram and say, hey, that's mine.
Yeah, pretty much. And,
I just borrowed it for the tree.
Because he's getting scolded.
Yeah.
By Milana.
Uh-huh.
Her name's Milana right now, anyway. It's her name, but it's not really her name.
Right.
Isn't that curious, Liliana? Don't you find that curious?
Very curious.
Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, I was gonna give it back.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabrielle's just like, da-da-da-da-da. Funny how the ribbons bring out its shine.
It's not an ornament.
Flashy thing like
Gabrielle.
that, what else could it be?
I mean, says Xena.
Yeah. Says Xena. So then...
Yeah, what else?
So then the happy conversation gets interrupted by Centocles and the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Who, in a nutshell, if you don't pay $1,000 or 1,000 dinars by midnight, you're gonna get evicted.
Right.
Then, the guard notices that they're decorating a tree. Oh, they're violating the prohibition.
Arrest him now.
Sounds like freaking Trump. Lock her up. Lock her. Freaking idiots. I'm sorry. And then we got Xena coming to the rescue.
Right.
She's all, Gabrielle!
Flips up through the air, grabs her chakram.
Gabrielle started fighting with her staff.
The chakram still has the ribbons around it, and Xena uses it to tie up the...
This is your funny scene. You like this scene. She laughs every time this scene comes on.
She uses it to tie up the soldiers.
Ties a nice little bow.
And then, Gabrielle's all like, I didn't know you do gift wrapping.
How'd that go again?
She said, I didn't know you do gift wrapping. Or you did gift wrapping.
Yeah.
I got it. It's okay.
You did.
Don't panic.
You got a little bit of subtext here. It's pointed out because of the way that Gabrielle's standing against Xena.
Okay.
Because somebody, I didn't necessarily agree either. But somebody's like, oh, she's pressed against her. She's got her arm on her waist. And, she's all breathless from being near Xena. I'm like, I would have thought she was breathless from fighting. But, to each their own.
Right.
If you want to read it that way, kick it out, man. Do you. That's what we always say, right? You do you. We may not necessarily agree. You may not necessarily agree with everything we say.
Mm-hmm.
But, hopefully everybody knows by now that we just like joking. Well, I like joking around. You like joking around too, but I say things before, I say words and my mind doesn't think words before they come out. So, with me, what you see is what you get. Never my intention to hurt or offend anybody. Mild disclaimer.
Okay.
And I feel like I have to preface every episode that has any type of Christian overtone to it. Because I'm slightly sardonic. I was raised in a Pentecostal home. And yeah, my dad's a pastor. So I'm a little... But please no, don't take any offense to it.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
That was a tangent.
So anyway.
You're supposed to stop me from doing that.
Why?
I don't know. Because you're my other half.
Okay, Trista, stop it. Jeez.
Okay, God,
oh
you
gosh.
take over the rest of the thing. We're not even finished with the teaser yet, but no, you go ahead.
You said to stop you
I know.
from babbling.
Okay. I stopped.
But it's okay.
No, I stopped.
You babble about the episode now.
I said I stopped. Okay, I'm over it.
There. So anyways, Milana goes on to explain, what the prohibition is.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, you're not allowed to celebrate the solstice. Because the king's an ass.
Is that right?
So he's grumpy.
So, Liliana,
And just wants everybody else to be grumpy too.
why don't you tell us what you really think of King Silvus?
He's a grumpy ass.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. You give him a big fucka you? For those of you guys that don't know Portuguese, as I don't know Portuguese, faca is knife in Portuguese, so they have shirts in Portugal that say faca you. So, that's kind of a violent sounding shirt.
I mean, if you're not Portuguese, you look at that and you're like, oh. But, yeah. Anyways.
Okay, so Gabrielle, after the title credits play, Gabrielle's having a conversation with Centocles. And she's all, how can you work for a man like that? And he's all like, well, I like to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And, had to take whatever job I could.
Right.
And Gabrielle's like, you were a toy maker?
Because the king outlawed toy making, and that's what Centocles did.
Yeah.
He made all kinds of toys.
Mm-hmm. And then,
And this is when Gabrielle realizes, oh wait, Centocles, she had a toy of his that he had made when she was younger.
mm-hmm.
The sheep where you pull its tail and it goes bah, bah.
Bah. The sheep, or the lamb.
Yeah.
Is going to, it's something that I labeled Watch for It Later.
Yeah.
Very original title, right? Watch for It Later.
Yep.
So, the wooden lamb, watch for in later episodes with, like, Gabrielle's arc, because you will recognize it. It plays a pivotal role in Gabrielle recognizing Hope in the episode Maternal Instincts.
That's right.
Because she gave it to Hope in the episode Gabrielle's Hope.
Right.
So.
It will reappear.
It will. It will.
Yes.
And maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. I don't know. So, he's all talking about how long it took to make, like, the mouth joint, and carving its fleece. So it was a real challenge. And Xena's like, well, now you're working for the dude that put you out of business.
Right? Sounds like quite a guy, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. And, Centocles is, given a little more background. He's like, well, King Silvus has always been hard, but his wife used to temper him. And then 30 years ago, she just died.
Yeah.
Queen Analia died.
Mm-hmm.
And he hadn't been the same.
Right.
And Xena's all, sympathetic, but...
It's no reason for banning the solstice.
Right. And then Milana, who runs the orphanage, she steps up and she's like, but as hard as his laws are on others, his loneliness has to be worse, And then Gabrielle launches into, that reminds me of a story I heard once. Frickin' bard. Always count on a bard for a story.
And the kids are all for that, like, yay, story time.
And then it bombs.
Yes.
She didn't like the ending. She's telling the story of Croesus.
The kids didn't like the ending.
Kids didn't like it, but neither did she, because she tells them,
Yeah.
I didn't like the ending very much anyway, but I bet we could change it.
Exactly.
Kids are all like, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabrielle looks all at Xena. Those big old doe eyes.
If we tried.
So
they're, on a quest to, change the king's mind.
Yes.
Quest is not the word I was looking for, but that's what popped out. But anyway.
Gods be praised! We have a quest! I'm sorry. I went Monty Python. Spam-a-lot.
Okay,
Spam-a-lot
got
all
it.
the way. So, Tim Curry's amazing. Love him. But we have, like, right here was another bit of what people were pointing out as subtext.
Okay.
Because the discussion that Xena and Gabrielle are having,
Mm-hmm.
is... Because Gabrielle's like, change the king's mind without changing his anatomy. Look at the example to set for the kids. It's like, well, they'll be out on the street. We don't do something.
Mm-hmm.
Gabrielle's pleading her case, and she says, just try it my way this once. And somebody pointed out on one of the forums that in this episode, Gabrielle seems like she plays quote unquote head of household a little more, because they're like, usually Xena is your leader.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle just goes with the flow. But, she's, she asked Xena to give her way this time.
Right.
And Xena's just like, alright. They point out that it doesn't take a whole lot of convincing.
Mm-hmm.
She might not like it, but she's like, okay.
Right.
Goes up. So, a little bit of subtext there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, to me, that nothing really stuck out to me in this episode. Like, at all. It didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. But it stuck out enough to somebody for them to literally write a page and a half about it. So, figured it might be worth mentioning. What do you guys think? Do you guys see any subtext in this episode?
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Put it down. If you don't want your comment out on the video, I actually had somebody that contacted us on the website.
Uh-huh.
That wanted to comment on a video, but didn't want to comment publicly on the video because they didn't want anybody, they're like, I don't want to start a whole big argument.
Right.
Which I respect that entirely. Because, there is so much ugly in the world. We don't need petty arguments. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no sense in being at one another's throat over something that both of you enjoy. Why fuss about it?
Right. It's just a show.
It's just a show. Yeah.
Everybody's got their own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't knock someone for their opinions that you don't agree with.
Well, that's like I said with the subtext. I don't necessarily agree with them, but,
Right.
It's enough that there's more than one person that have a consensus on it, so, I'll bring it up. I'll talk about it. So you guys let us know what you guys think subtext-wise for this episode in the comments.
Alrighty.
Right?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
Like it.
Okay. So now, we have Gabrielle counting out dinars. They have 35.
Yes. This is where I was talking earlier. It's the first place that it's the first time that we get, a clear picture that Xena and Gabrielle share funds.
Uh-huh.
Which, again, somebody pointed out on the subtext, one of the subtext forums, that's very much so a couple-y deal. Because when you're living with a partner and you're traveling with a partner, you're held accountable for what you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Because both of you are having to survive off of it.
Right.
And they're like, if it was... They pointed out, well, if it was a roommate relationship, Xena would have her money, Gabrielle would have her money. But the fact that it's cumulative, that's what makes it a coupleship. It's because, it's like a joint bank account.
Yeah.
There's another tidbit of subtext.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, They're needing supplies.
Yes, and I need to get out of Subtext land so bad.
Okay.
Take me home, Lily!
And Gabrielle needs to stretch, the 35 dinars as far as she can.
And we know that Gabrielle's really good at getting bargains.
Right. She is. So.
And I mean, she is. She's really good at getting bargains. So, Xena tells her that, a deal's a deal. She's not going to crack King Silvis's head. They're going to see if the plan will work.
Right.
And when Xena said, deal's a deal, she says, right, Centicles, and we've got an oopsie.
Centicles is always trying to get away.
He is.
He's always trying to sneak away. So what's the oopsie?
The oopsie is if you watch Lucy Lawless's mouth.
Ah, okay.
When she grabs Centicles, you can clearly see her say right, but her mouth doesn't move for the word Centicles. Her lips are just fixed in a smile, like an open smile, But she does not say, she doesn't mouth the word Centicles. So the audio and the visual are not matchy things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Alrighty.
And Centicles is where Xena's an assassin.
Well, if she was, he'd be dead already.
Yes. The king would be dead already.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought she was threatening Centicles, and she was threatening the king.
Yeah.
If I was an assassin, he'd be dead already.
He'd be dead already. It all works for me. Okay. So
she tells Gabrielle, get everything we need.
Mm-hmm.
Meet you back at the orphanage. And then they split up.
Right. And then we have Tobias.
I like Tobias. I wanted Tobias. Do they make little plushy Tobiases? They should.
Tobias the donkey.
Oh, they should make a Tobias Funko Pop.
That would be cute.
It would be adorable. They should have a Xena and a Gabrielle and a Joxer and an Argo and a Tobias.
Yes.
Yes. And a Destroyer.
And an Ares.
I really want to... Yes, and an Ares. I really want a Destroyer Funko Pop. It would be freaking adorable. Oh my god.
She thinks the Destroyer is adorable.
He is! I want him. It reminds me of my mother.
Does it really?
No, I'm just kidding around. But I had you going for a second, didn't I? She doesn't have as many spikes. Big eyes, but not as many spikes.
Anyways.
So anyway, the Tobias's owner is all yelling at poor Tobias. You stubborn ass! He's trying to yank him.
Nothing
get him to
but
go.
trouble. Apparently, he's trying to get him to the tannery.
Right.
Poor donkey.
I know.
Jeez.
He's whining, and Gabrielle's like, it's quite an animal.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
You want him? He's yours for 50 dinars.
Gabrielle's 50. And he's like, well, the tannery will give me 50. And she's like, you're going to have him skinned? Take him off your hands for 25. It's half of what he's worth.
It's half of what the tannery has offered.
Yeah. Gabrielle's like, yeah, but you got to get him there.
Gotta get him
because
there.
that donkey wasn't moving.
No. So they start wheeling and dealing back and forth.
She goes, from 25 up to 30. Says not a dinar more, and he's like, 35, you got a deal. And she's like, okay. And then she realizes,
oh,
uh-oh.
shit. That was all the dinars that she had. Oopsie. She's probably thinking, oh, Xena's going to kick my butt.
Probably.
Right.
That comment you just made is actually another subtext thing that I have for later.
Okay.
So.
So now we're at the castle.
Yes.
And Xena has made her way into the king's bedchambers.
Yes. Wake up!
Exactly.
Not you, Willow. Go back to sleep.
He's like, who the heck are you? How did you get in here?
What do you want?
What do you want? And Xena's just like, we need to talk.
She's pretty much like, because he
Well,
thinks
he
she's
thinks-
in there to kill her.
to
kill him.
Right, so he's just like, I'll take everything. Take the jewels, take the money.
Have mercy on me. And she's like, kind of mercy you showed the orphanage you're closing?
Yeah.
And he's totally clueless because, like he says, he issues so many eviction notices.
Right.
And they continue talking, and he finally says, "Oh, you're one of those solstice lovers."
Mm-hmm.
You know, think everybody should stop for the solstice.
Right.
You know.
Right. And he yells for the guards.
He's all, "Do you know what I say to that?" And I looked at Lillian, and I'm like, "Bah humbug," which I knew that wasn't I knew that wasn't what he said, but
right.
He's all Ebenezer Scroogey.
Right.
Like, bah humbug?
Mm-hmm. So he yells for the guards.
Guards!
And she goes out the window.
Mm-hmm. On a completely real scenescape. It's not really. It's totally CGI'd.
Mm-hmm. She,
jumps out the window, swings on a rope.
Swings. That's the word I was looking for. Swings on a rope into...
a storeroom.
Storeroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like it was actually used as an alternate bed chamber.
Right.
At one point in time. But everything is in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's been touched. Everything's covered in cobwebs and dust. And
yeah.
She catches there's a picture that catches her eye, and she's like, "Enalia."
Mm-hmm.
So then she formulates a plan.
Right.
Which we don't know yet.
Right.
And Gabrielle's having a conversation with Tobias. And she's telling Tobias, I'm gonna have to leave. And he's all whining, and I don't know what you call it when a donkey whines.
Bray.
Is it a bray? Brays?
Braying?
Braying?
Something like that.
So...
But they're inside the orphanage. How did she get the donkey inside the orphanage?
She's outside right now.
Is it outside or inside?
She's like right outside the orphanage. Because she's like, I'm going to have to leave you. And she tells him, it's not fair to on Solstice. I know, but what can I do?
Okay.
She said you can't stay inside.
Right.
And the place is hers. Till midnight.
Mm-hmm. So, and then,
But the donkey won't go anywhere.
And then, what's his name?
Lionel.
Lionel is, calling for all the rugrats, what he called them, to wash up, and he whistles.
Yep. And that's when Gabrielle realizes that Tobias is trained like Argo is.
Yeah, just like Argo. So all you gotta do is whistle, and he moves.
Off he trots.
Yep. What?
I had the thought going through my head about when she drank the stuff and her mouth went numb and she's leaned over drooling into the guard. Come on, Gabrielle, you can whistle. Remember? And she tries so hard to whistle and she can't. That's what goes through my head. Like, anytime I see that scene. Anywho.
Anyways. Okay.
Oh my goodness, I had to yawn.
And then we have Syntocles
and
Xena, and he's trying to do some good. He's like changing people's sentences.
Right.
Trying to save some people, extra years in jail.
Right.
So, I mean, he's good-hearted, he's just chicken shit.
Yeah. Well, he's scared to stand up for himself and anybody else.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But he tells Xena straight up, I'm not going to risk being arrested. Mm-hmm. I'll die locked up in a cell.
Right.
And Xena takes one of the parchments from him and she's like, what's going to happen to you if the king finds out about these changes?
Right.
And, he thinks she's going to try and blackmail him, but she's like, well, I wouldn't do that.
No.
But if he did find out, you'd be put in jail anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so she tells him, you're braver than what you think you are.
Right.
And then you got Gabrielle, who's telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
And she's telling the story of Solstice and why Solstice is so important.
Right.
And that's when you got all the children that are talking about what their solstice wishes are. And that's why you that's when you see orphan number 3, who's sullen later.
Uh-huh.
So keep an eyeball out for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't realize those who till like the third time through that I watched it, I think. That episode.
Okay.
Anyway, mainly just little ad-libbing comments right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Milana, yeah.
Yeah.
It's telling them, go put your stockings by the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll pretty much get to bed, yeah?
Yeah.
And it seems like she's sending them to bed.
I think.
But Xena has overheard this whole thing, and she tells Gabrielle that, the plan better work, because she'll do anything that it takes so those kids aren't hurt.
Right.
And then we got another little bit of subtext here. Can you guess what it is?
What is it, honey?
No, you gotta guess.
No.
You have to guess.
Is it when she says, when Gabrielle says to Sinterklaas that she's a very physical person?
Yes. Because somebody commented the touch she gives Xena and the look she gives Xena.
Uh-huh.
And then the comment, she's a very physical person. And then she tells Xena, I completely agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But you had a couple of deals that would have, that when we were looking at the original script versus when we were looking at the shooting script versus the altered script, there were a couple of phrases, like a couple of lines that were in there, that were entirely subtext. Like, the whole lines were subtext. If those had been in there and it had been, like, added onto like that, because, like, one of them, Sinterklaas is talking to Gabrielle, and she straight up calls Xena her partner.
Oh. It's, actually Sinterklaas.
That's the other way around.
Sinterklaas is the one that said something,
That's what I meant.
Your partner, but then it was changed
Something
to your
like,
friend.
Yeah. I gave it to your partner, and yeah. They changed it to
your friend.
Yeah. But I'm like, then I could have made all that made sense. Because there were quite a few things. Because in the shooting script originally, before it was altered, be it for either network issues. And, I actually think when I was researching, if I remember correctly, parts of it were changed because the network was so concerned about pushback from the Christian community because it was a Christmas episode of Xena. They were so concerned with pushback, they had them alter certain scenes and certain
phrases
that were used. So, because there were like, Gabrielle touched Xena a couple of times, and there were a few little more sultry than friendly looks exchanged and stuff on the shooting script, but all of that was scrapped. So, which is probably why it's so difficult to find subtext in this episode, is because they tried to annihilate what they could.
Yeah.
Would be my surmise.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds about right. So.
Yes.
Tina gets introduced to Tobias.
Yes.
And Gabrielle, cost, everything that they had. But Xena wasn't too worried about it.
She wasn't, which actually somebody pointed out, again, as subtext. She was just like, whatever Gabrielle wants, I'll give Gabrielle what she wants.
But, I mean, she was fine
anyway.
with it because, she found everything they needed.
Now,
yes.
Liliana.
Yes.
Let's be honest. So, do you think that if Xena had not found all the supplies, that they needed, that she would have been upset with Gabrielle for spending the money anyway?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
So, let's say there's this video game that I really want, really bad.
Yes.
And I spend all our money on it. But, like, we have supplies for the week, like food and toilet paper and, you know, gas in the car. But I spend all our money on that video game. Would you still be cool with it?
Yeah, okay.
You guys heard it! You heard it. If I wake up dead, you know who did it. Okay.
Well, I think she wasn't mad because, you know, she knows that Gabrielle was just trying to
help
save the poor donkey from getting slaughtered. Because that would just been sad.
Well, Xena realizes that Gabrielle's got too much good in her heart to ever let any harm come to anything innocent and defenseless.
Right.
You know.
So now we're back in the king's chambers again.
Yes, and Xena's dressed up
as Clotho, the first of the Fates.
Yes. And she talks with like a softer, gentler voice because, you know, Clotho's the maid.
Right.
And she's saying, Silvus, arise. Open your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Silvus, wake up! And doesn't she, like, throw something at him?
Mm-hmm. So, she's telling him, you know, he's all like, what is this, the town square? Because
everybody
first Xena came in, and now Xena as Clotho came in. You're like, what do you want?
Right, and then she goes on, you know, mankind calls me Clotho, the first of the Fates.
Whose province is the past.
Right. Nonsense, he says.
So we have the ghost of Christmas past.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you Christmas Carol junkies. Because that's what I thought the entire time. Oh, it's the ghost of Christmas past.
Oh, he's like, just get out, let me sleep.
Well, and then when she pops in as Lycosis, all I could hear in my head was, you know, Muppet Christmas Carol, come in and know me better, man. That wasn't what she said. It saddened me.
Oh.
But anyway,
yeah.
I Christmas caroled it the entire way.
But he's not having it. I mean, he's not believing that she's actually one of the Fates.
So he tells her to get out.
Exactly. Get out and let me sleep.
Right. And she's like, well, your commands have no sway over me.
Mm-hmm. I command you to arise and walk by my side.
And he's like, how do I know you're a Fate? And then they do that, like, freaking cool trick with the hourglass.
Right. So, Centocles is hidden behind the curtains, you know, turning the hourglass, and then
gets a blow dart.
Blow dart
at it, busts the hourglass, and
that convinces King Silvus that okay. You know, he's convinced that.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he sees nobody. He's thinking that,
yeah,
you know, Xena's done all this just by a wave of her hand.
Right.
She's like, okay, I'm going.
Mm-hmm. So then she takes him to that room that's pretty much been locked up for the last 30 years.
Right.
You know, to visit his past.
You got Gabrielle dressed up, dangling above the bed. Silva!
Dear husband!
And Alia? No, Gabrielle.
He starts like to get closer to her, and she's just like, no, stop!
Come no closer.
Come no closer.
But,
because she's nothing but a shadow from his past.
She's, you know, encouraging him to turn from his ways.
Mm-hmm.
Before it's too late, and he's like, great Zeus! And then Xena gives him a drink.
Right.
And then we flash to Centocles outside.
Mm-hmm.
We see that Tobias is holding the rope.
Right.
Well, one of the guards whistles. And off Tobias goes.
Right.
Because he's whistle trained.
Exactly.
Gabrielle hits the bed and Xena gets the oh shit look on her face.
Right.
And if you watch this when it really happened, it cut right here. Mm-hmm. And you didn't know if King Silvus was gonna catch it or not.
Right. But
he didn't.
Xena whistles. Mm-hmm. So that, Tobias can pull Gabrielle back up again.
Right.
That's funny to watch, because Gabrielle's all like trying to straighten out her outfit and everything, and then as soon as the king turns, she's just whoop, whoop, throws her arms back up in the air like.
It is. That's a hilarious
It's
scene.
funny. So, and then this is where we find out that Analia really didn't die.
Right. Centicles thought that she did.
Yeah.
But Gabrielle, it's like, you grieved long enough, you gotta forget my death.
Right.
He's like, what do you mean? You walked out on me.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I was speaking metaphorically. We
yeah.
shadows from the past do that. And Xena's like, yeah. Yeah, what she said.
And then he's all like, wait, what's going on? And then he passes out.
Yeah.
Because he just got drugs.
Right. But it's not going to last long.
No.
And because Xena just used an herb.
Right.
Sleeping
herb. Mm-hmm.
It's not going to last long.
Yep.
Gotta get moving.
Gabrielle's just like, I thought Centicles said his wife was dead.
Uh-huh. And Xena's like, he also said he had a handle on Tobias.
Yep. And then
Xena drags him back to his bedchamber.
Mm-hmm. Because they're gonna start phase 2.
Mm-hmm. And then Gabrielle's looking for Centicles, and she realized that, she's talking to Tobias.
Right. Because Centicles is nowhere around. No.
And Tobias is like braying drastically at her. Like, what are you trying to tell me?
Because he's leading her to Centicles.
Mm-hmm. And Gabrielle's like, okay, let's find him.
Smart donkey.
Which was actually changed. In the shooting script, that line was...
It was different, yeah.
It was just, okay, let's go find him.
Something like that, yeah. Is that what it was?
Okay, let's find him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no smart donkey. That was actually added by Renee O'Connor. She did a lot of ad-libbing that they kept in. Both.
Yeah.
So, and Ted Raimi, who's thankfully not in this episode, because I couldn't have handled a chicken shit and a joxer. I just couldn't have.
Okay, so.
Yes.
Phase 2.
Yes.
The second phase.
Yes.
Back in the chambers.
Yes.
Come on. Do it. Do it.
Do what?
The second phase.
Do what?
Oh, you know.
Oh, she says to me.
Yes.
You hear that?
Come on. Go on.
Who's the second fate?
You tell me. Come on.
Shut up.
Come on.
Lycosis, second of the fates.
That cracks me up.
I don't know why. It's a terrible impression. It cracks me up when Lucy Lawless does that voice.
Uh-huh.
It's funny to me. I had a teacher that talked like that one time.
Oh, yeah?
Lycosis. Anyway. Now, I'll tell you, Lycosis, Liliana used to pronounce, like, when she'd just see it written down, she'd say, Lychesis. Do you remember that?
I don't know.
I had written
Lychesis?
I had written a fan fiction.
Uh-huh.
And you were looking over it, reading it, and you're like, what is that? Lychesis? Oh, I know, it's Lycosis. It's one of the fates. That's how you spell it. Yeah. The Greeks, their spelling is not like our spelling.
No. So, she tells him that, she is there to show him the present. Tells him,
There's a present?
Not present, but present as in present? Not present as in gifts, but present as in, the present, not the past.
Oh.
There's no gifts, I'm sorry. There will be later.
Presents later?
There'll be prezzies later.
Okay.
Santa's gonna bring them. or is it Sinta? Sintacles? Sinta?
Sintacles.
Sinta's gonna bring them.
Sintacles. Greek for Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yes.
So, yeah. So she tells him that, tonight
they're gonna walk around among the villagers.
They're gonna,
Who
go among their subjects.
Yeah. Who are as... And he will be as anonymous to them as they are to him.
Yeah. And she has him put on,
Rags,
and he wasn't happy about that.
Nope. So they get to we get to a cutscene.
Uh-huh.
And then we get to Sintacles
Mm-hmm.
at his house. Gabrielle's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
He opens the door.
Mm-hmm.
And she's lecturing him because he was supposed to stay with Tobias.
Right.
And she and Xena were nearly caught.
Mm-hmm.
Because he ran off.
So, he said you didn't expect me to stick around and get caught.
Yeah, because a couple of guards had walked up.
Right.
And, he hauled ass.
Yeah. And then Gabrielle was like, well, what about us? And what about Tobias? And then he's like, well, I've seen your warrior friend in action.
I knew you'd be okay.
Right. And as for the donkey, what are they going to do to a donkey?
They'd send him to the tannery.
I know.
Or they'd eat it.
Yeah. And then he goes on
about... They could lock me in prison the rest of my life. Because it's him. All about him.
Yeah, and he just tells her, just go on, leave. Leave me alone. Go away. And then Gabrielle
sees all the toys.
She does turn to go away, and then she's just like, oh,
presents!
Ooh, prezzies.
See, I told you there was presents.
So she got a big old smile on her face, and like, wow.
She's looking at dolls and bears.
And she found the little sheep. Or the lamb. She found the lamb, and she's just tugging at its tail. Bah, bah.
You do that so well.
Bah. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
But, and he's just like, oh, that's nothing.
Sure it is.
But she's amazed by it all. Starts packing everything up into a bag. Because she's got a plan.
She's thinking they're going to make awesome gifts for all the kids at the orphanage.
Right.
And because Gabrielle is not thinking about Gabrielle.
No.
She's thinking about other people. Which is actually a contrasting show to Sintacles. And it's not that Sintacles is a selfish person.
Mm-hmm.
He just scared,
Right.
So, yeah. I halfway wonder if she was actually in awe of all the toys because of the fact that he made them all.
Mm-hmm.
Or because she had never seen that many toys in one place.
Yeah.
Because, as you also have found out, I didn't realize that Gabrielle was a peasant. And Xena was a little better off with her family.
Mm-hmm.
But Gabrielle's family doesn't have much.
Right.
Yeah, which you see in the episodes. You got Cyrene with this nice establishment. Gabrielle's family home is like, not in that great a shape. To be honest with you. So, I halfway wonder if it's because she hadn't seen that much one time. Because really the only toy that you hear that Gabrielle's gotten, is the lamb. In this episode.
Yeah.
And then she and Lila each got a solstice gift one year and, in Family Affair.
Uh-huh.
You hear her talking about the rag doll that their mom made for them. She made each of them a rag doll and Gabrielle gave Lila hers.
Mm-hmm.
Till Lila stopped crying. But, I don't really know the reason for the awe. if it was just because they were unique toys, like if they were unique to that area, or just because
Probably.
her family didn't have the means to.
Might be a little of everything.
It could be. Yeah?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. So she starts, putting them in the bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then she, lectures, what's his name? Syntacles.
Yes.
Pretty much telling him, hey, man up already. She tells him, what he's most afraid will happen has happened.
Well,
Because
she tells him, you're terrified of having to live your life in a small space, but that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. So, I think that's what finally sunk into his head.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the king and Xena.
They are at the orphanage.
And Lionel answers the door.
And lets him in, and, And the king is, expecting him to just slam the door on their faces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're strangers, you just slam the door on... Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Right.
And Lionel's like, slam the door on Solstice Eve? Come in, how can I help you?
Right. And, he's like, if you guys need food or drink, we don't have much, but we'll share what we have.
Mm-hmm. And then, which surprised King Silvus.
Mm-hmm.
And Xena, Xena is Lycus's, speaks up, charity of your king and country is legendary. And Lionel's like, our king charitable? You really are strangers.
And the king's, just turns
taking
around.
offense to it.
Yeah, well, what do you mean about, what's that supposed to mean?
Mm-hmm. And Lionel's like, King Silvus is, the meanest, most tight-fisted ruler this side of the Aegean.
Is that so? Says the king.
And then Lionel goes into talking about Midas, and, he was the most greedy until Hercules helped him, and our king makes him look like Lady
Bountiful? Is that what it was? Bountiful?
Maybe? I don't know.
Think so. Lady Bountiful.
Lady Bountiful.
I don't get it either.
For some reason, I thought he was saying Beneful. And I'm like, so it makes him look like Lady Dog Food? My thought process.
No dog food.
No dog food?
No dog food.
And Xena's like, well, surely you exaggerate.
No, it didn't. Lionel goes on to tell him how,
they're going to evict
kicking
us
us.
because we can't pay our taxes.
He's kicking us out tonight. Yeah. What kind of a king does that to kids on Solstice Eve?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to Gabrielle and Syntacles and Tobias. And Syntacles at this point looks like Santa Claus.
Uh-huh. He does.
And they're
trying to get into the orphanage, but then a group of guards
walk by
who are, about to evict the kids from the orphanage. So
they decide to find an alternate route.
Yeah.
To get in so that they can warn Milana.
Right.
That the guards are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the solstice song.
Right. The kids are singing.
Yes. Would you like to sing it?
No. You're the singer.
No. No. So, after the solstice song, King Silvus is, telling Xena, take me home. I've seen her enough.
Mm-hmm.
And Xena's trying to really push him hard,
Right, yeah.
She knows what time it is.
Enough to stop the eviction. And then he's all like, that's it, enough. I won't be
lectured.
lectured.
Especially when it's all your fault.
She's just like, my fault? What the really heck did I do?
And then then we realize that King Silvus blames the Fates for separating him an Analia.
Right.
Because, the Fates control everything.
Right.
Or they give the Fates credit for controlling everything. But honestly, the Fates just control your life flow.
Right.
They don't control the choices you make and what you do.
Exactly.
Just your life flow. Mm-hmm. Your life thread.
Right.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
So then they go to step outside and the guards are there. And the guards tell him, you're under arrest. And he's just like, I'm the king.
Yeah, right.
And I'm the queen of the Amazons. Seize them.
Gabrielle sure has changed.
And then Xena does her little kick thing and
Yes.
knocks the beams down so that the doorway is pretty much covered, sealed. Not sealed, but...
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yes.
I'm yours.
Blocked. There you go.
Okay.
Blocked.
Good job.
Yep.
And then she shuts them inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And King Silvus is just shocked because they've tried to attack him.
They attacked me. The king! And he passes out.
Lionel's like, you guys better go. Mm-hmm. And then Xena reveals that, it's Xena. He's like, Xena!
Mm-hmm.
Thank the gods it's you. The guards have escaped. Because they had guards in the basement.
Nah. Mm-hmm.
They had them tied up down in the basement. And they escaped. And then the head guard dude from outside is like, you come out voluntarily, or we're coming in to get you.
But either way, you're gone.
And so...
And then Xena takes the king to another room. Mm-hmm. And...
lays him down.
Mm-hmm. And, Milana...
Because he's passed out from shock.
Yeah. And then Milana is in there. Mm-hmm. And Xena notices her necklace. Which happened to be the same necklace that was in the painting in the room in the castle of the king's wife. Mm-hmm. So she put two and two together like, huh, she's Analia. Pretending to be somebody else. So then she tells her, well, maybe you should stay here with him.
Yeah.
So.
Chip.
So yeah.
So, they go back out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear this crazy sound. And Centicles says, come down the chimney.
Come down the chimney.
And then Gabrielle is like right on his heels.
Tumbling
and
behind
she's screaming as she's falling down the chimney. She's screaming and then she's just floods. It's funny, you laughed pretty hard at that too.
But Centicles was all like happy about it.
Ho ho ho!
He was thrilled about coming down that chimney.
He's gonna do that every year.
He's gonna do it every year.
Yep. He's like, you know what? I liked it. It was fun.
I'm gonna do that every solstice, Steve. Mm-hmm. Just see if I don't. What?
And then Gabrielle's telling Xena about the guards outside, and Xena's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Gabrielle's like, well, my plan didn't work after all. So it's slash and crash. Like, but thanks for trying.
Mm-hmm.
What up? And then the guards attack.
Uh-huh. Well, Xena notices, like, all the toys that they brought with them. Mm-hmm. So, she's probably thinking, hey, we can use that.
Yeah. So she
tosses the marbles on the floor.
Tosses marbles, that's right.
Guards
like,
come.
Oh God, what hit first?
The guards come running in and fall. Yeah, fall like flies.
Yes.
From the marbles.
And then Gabrielle and Xena and Centicles all shoot the little plunger arrows.
The little.
Plunger arrows at the guards' heads. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then the guards are like, ow! That was the funniest part to me, like in the whole fight scene. Is the guard going, ow? It's like, dude, it's a plunger. Get over it.
It's not an actual arrow.
Right? And then Xena starts, like, filling stockings.
Uh-huh.
She's filling them up with what is it? Walnuts?
I don't know.
Is it walnuts she's filling it up with?
I don't know. She's, I guess, filling her, yeah.
Walnuts?
Some kind of nut.
And then, trying to keep the guards from attacking Xena, Gabrielle
starts hula hooping.
Which has been also classified as subtext. Ask me why.
Why?
Because it takes Xena so long to finish filling those stockings. The comment was made, that's because she stopped in mid-process to watch Gabrielle hula hoop. And that evidence is supported because of the way she stops to watch Gabrielle dance in the episode Ulysses. So, that made it in a subtext to one particular viewer. So, like, come get your solstice present. Want to help me play with it? And then... Then what happens? Oh, Centocles kicks in.
Ho, 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 ho.
Yes.
He does the ho, 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 ho.
Yes. He throws apples and he hits the guards in the head.
Yeah. Knocks them out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They got knocked out by an apple.
And then Sylvis wakes up in a different room.
Mm-hmm.
And he's terrified.
Well, he knows that, the three fates were supposed to visit him.
Mm-hmm.
So the first two have already visited him. So now, Milana? Slash... what was her name again? Analia is standing there with, like...
a
cloak over... Yeah, with the hood over and everything. So he thinks that she's the third fate.
He thinks that she's Atropos.
Yeah.
Which is, the fate that snips the thread at the end of your life.
The future.
Yes. Who is, oh God, what was I gonna say?
Atropos.
Yeah. So he thinks that she's there to show him what his death's gonna be like because he thinks he's in a tomb.
Right. Because it's cold and dark and he hears these sounds that...
sound like souls crying out in pain.
Right.
Is this his future? And then she just leaves.
Well, she turns to leave and...
He says don't leave him.
Right.
And she turns back.
Mm-hmm. So now...
He's asking
he's
if he
terrified.
can change.
Yeah, he's terrified. That, hey, he's gonna die. So now... He's like, I can change. I can do it. So.
And then she holds out his hand, takes his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
like... No, I'm not going with you.
Not yet.
Nope. I'll prove... Yeah.
Then he walks out of that room.
Mm-hmm.
He comes into chaos.
Right?
And now Xena starts swinging her stockings.
Swinging the stockings and knocking guards out.
Great stocking stuffers. And Centocles, we've got an homage to the Clint Eastwood movie Dirty Harry.
Right.
So he says, "Go ahead,
make my day." Shoots a candy cane, was it?
Yeah, candy cane at him and knocks him out. And then Xena, this is our little Easter egg area.
Mm-hmm.
She picks up a marionette of Hercules.
Right.
And as she picks up the marionette, the Hercules theme song starts playing.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys keep an ear out for that, and keep an ear out for the Hercules doll, because I completely missed the fact that the doll was Hercules. I did.
Oh.
And I also missed, upon the first couple of watches, I also missed the fact that she looks down at Hercules and smiles at him and tells him thank you.
Yeah.
Like, thanks. So I thought that was kind of a nice little nod.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Gabrielle playing Jingle Bells.
Gabrielle the songwriter.
She did jingle bells with the two bells.
Mm-hmm. Beats the crap out of the guards.
Mm-hmm.
That was my other little Easter egg. Gabrielle created jingle bells on the guards' helmets.
Uh-huh.
And she looks like, hey, that's kind of catchy. And then she's like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it'll never catch on.
Then you got this annoying soldier dude that's just twirling his swords.
He does the same sword routine that the guy with no voice box has in 10 Little Warlords.
Uh-huh.
He does that, and then he also does the same. And both of those is echoed in Friend in Need with one of the Japanese samurais. They do the exact same movements with the hands. Yeah, it's a mirror scene.
So that... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, Xena tells, Gabrielle, hand me a sword.
Well, Gabrielle handed her a sword.
She didn't ask what kind of sword.
She didn't tell her that, she didn't ask Gabrielle to hand her a flaccid sword. But Gabrielle did. It was a little wobbly.
A little bit.
And Gabrielle just looks at her and grins like, oopsie. And Xena smiles back at her and just, yanks the unicorn towards the dude. Catches him right in the safety deposit box.
Uh-huh.
He drops.
And then we got Lionel and the other kids who are loading little toy catapults.
With pies and all that
pastries. Yeah.
And then...
Shoots them at the guards. And I believe there were 4 of them. 3 of them got hit by pastries. 1 of them didn't. But it's funny if you watch, you'll see that one that didn't get hit by him wiping his face, but he didn't get hit by anything. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? But I was all like, dude, you're not wiping anything. You didn't get hit. But anyways, go ahead.
No, you covered it.
Okay. Go ahead.
You covered it.
Okay.
No, for real, you covered what I was going to say.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, the guard now is, taunting the other soldiers. You've been beaten by women and children.
Mm-hmm.
You're pathetic. And then the big pillow fight ensues.
Right. The king.
King Silvus grabbed a centaur pillow.
He's the one that started the pillow fight.
He did. And the pillow fight actually houses an oopsie. Because it's supposed to be a serious fight scene at this point in time.
Yeah.
And throughout the entire pillow fight, as the feathers are flying, Renee O'Connor is laughing hysterically the entire time. You watch her facial features, and she's just busting a gut laughing.
Isn't there one of the guards that's also laughing?
Yeah. One of the guards is laughing too. So both actors broke character.
Yeah.
So it's technically classified as an oopsie.
Mm-hmm.
Woo-oo. And then later it was okay for everybody to laugh. But to begin with, it's an oopsie doodle.
Yeah.
So then King Silvus is happy because all the guards run away.
They got defeated with pillows.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Those are some...
It's almost as bad as fish.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
I mean, the earlier seasons of Xena had some of the cheesiest fight scenes. They truly did. But, I mean, it makes for good comedic watching.
Right, yeah. It does. So,
then
the king's happy,
He tells them, there's not going to be any evictions.
Not tonight, not ever.
Yeah. And then
Out
Gabrielle
comes...
introduces him to Milana, who runs the orphanage. But when she goes to introduce her, she's like, her name's, and he's like, Analia.
Mm-hmm.
And then Xena and Gabrielle find out that, oops, it's really his wife.
Right. Which, I mean, Xena already knew.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So she forgives him.
Yes.
They make up.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we cut to the next day, and it's Xena, Gabrielle, and Argo and Tobias.
Tobias.
And they're Xena tells Gabrielle, you got that happy ending that you wanted, and Gabrielle says, and then some, which, of course is classified as subtext because you don't know what the and then some is. And they get stopped by some travelers. Mm-hmm. Asking them which road goes west, and Xena offers to escort them.
Right.
And they tell her that, they're in a hurry.
Right.
And,
then Gabrielle gives them Tobias.
She does.
Because they will be able to travel faster if, the wife and
the baby ride.
Right.
And, you hear the woman tell Gabrielle, may God smile upon you.
Right.
And when she says that, the reason that you have background evidence saying that this is like the birth of Christ, is that the baby is glowing.
Right.
When she says that. And it's hard to catch if you're not watching for it.
Yeah.
I learned that. Because it's like, I knew it was there because I saw it the very first time through.
Uh-huh. But
it's hard to catch if you're not watching it at the exact moment. It just looks, odd. But, anyway. Then Gabrielle lectures Tobias. She's like, don't be stubborn. Take good care of them.
Right.
And he's all, donkey chatting with her that he's going to miss her. And it's a sad day. Gabrielle's sad, and Xena's all impressed because it was nice.
Yeah. She's like, what would I do with a silly old donkey anyway?
He wasn't silly. He was cute.
It was cute.
Can we have a donkey?
Donkeys are cute. Oh, there's a place, like, just down the road from us. Not really down the road, but they have miniature donkeys. They are so freaking cute. Every time we pass by them, I'm like, look at the little donkeys. They're so cute.
Can we have a donkey?
We could have a miniature donkey.
Okay.
We should go get a miniature donkey.
Okay. Let me get my black pants and black shirt and ski cap and gloves, and we'll get right on that.
They're cute.
Then I'll put on my work boots, and then tomorrow I'll be like, hey, anybody want to buy a pair of work boots?
But anyways.
Anywho. So, Gabrielle tells Xena that they needed the donkey more than she did anyway.
Right.
And Gabrielle's like, it's solstice. Xena's like, oh yeah.
That's right. She hands her.
In the shooting script, Argo's the one that reminded Xena that it was solstice. And that she had something for Gabrielle.
How did she do that?
I don't know. But
nudged her, maybe?
She might have nudged her. May have nudged her hand. But yeah, in the original script.
So Xena hands her this something that's wrapped up in a cloth.
Why can't our wrapping paper be like that nowadays?
Right?
So much easier.
So
start wrapping the kids' gifts in towels.
So Gabrielle was happy to see that it was the lamb that she had when she was younger.
Mm-hmm. It was so sweet of Xena to remember.
Yes.
And then Gabrielle's like, I don't have a gift to you. Or a gift for you.
And she says, Gabrielle, you are a gift to me. Is that subtext?
Yes.
Okay.
She gonna unwrap her later.
Okay.
That's legit what was used when they were talking about that on the subtext forum.
Uh-huh.
She's a gift to Xena. She's gonna unwrap her later. It's like a Kit Kat bar.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
All right, and that brings us to the end. We close on the star that's shining over the manger where Jesus lay.
Yes,
that's still shining in broad daylight. And
that's it.
That wraps it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wraps the episode.
That's it.
Next episode's the Xena Scrolls.
Oh, the Xena Scroll. I like the Xena Scrolls.
I know you do. What's your chakram rating on this one?
I liked it. I give it a 4.
Do you give it a 4?
I like it. I mean, it's not one of my, like, top ones. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. What about you?
I give the episode a 4 and Tobias a 5.
Okay.
So.
Did we do the disclaimer for this one?
We didn't. Okay, yeah, you did.
Did we?
You did the disclaimer.
Okay.
Hit it again, just in case. The chimneys need repair.
Oh, okay, that's right. We did.
We did that.
I remember now. Maybe.
Okay, well, as long as you remember.
Okay. Synthocles was not harmed during the production of this motion picture. However, several chimneys are in dire need of repair.
Yes. He ho-ho-hoed his way all the way ho down.
Yes, he did.
Yes. So, I guess that wraps it up for us.
Yep.
You guys keep a check on the Babbling Bards Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try and share trivia questions as often as I can. Because I did that the other day. People seem to like it.
And all you guys gotta do is answer.
Yeah.
With what you think is the correct answer.
That's right, that's right. Do it. Answer it.
Yes.
We will be featuring a special announcement on the Xena Scrolls podcast when it releases. So you guys be sure to stay tuned for the Xena Scrolls podcast.
Yes.
Pay attention to it. You'll like it. I promise. You'll like it. We'll like it. It'll work out well for everybody involved. Anyway, till next time, guys. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Follow us. Tweet us.
Like us.
Like us. Message us. You know? You guys do you. We'll do us. That was not subtext, even though Liliana's laughing really hard. No subtext here. No, not at all.
Okay.
The teleprompter stopped. We have no teleprompter.
Huh?
Nothing.
What? Oh.
Nothing. You're confused.
I'm lost and confused.
But I understand. So, till next time, you guys stay safe, because it is a crazy, crazy world out there. There's so much bad juju. Go out. Be a force for good. Do something nice for somebody just because.
Exactly.
And till next time, happy chakrams. Happy chakrams.
Happy chakrams.
Battle on.
Battle on.
Till then, Babbling Bards.
Out?
Out.